Little Tim and the Big Boulder. Little Tim was a young pickup truck with a cheerful smile and a heart full of kindness. He lived in a cozy little garage near the mountains with his dad, a strong and wise tow truck who was a great mechanic. Tim loved to tinker and fix things, just like his dad. He dreamed of growing up to be the best mechanic in the world and having a garage of his own someday. Cars would sometimes stop by their home, asking for help. A squeaky old van might need a new tire, a tiny scooter might have a broken light, or a big truck might need an oil change. Tim's dad never said no. He helped everyone, whether they could pay or not. And Tim was always by his side, handing him tools and learning everything he could. One day, a dusty blue car pulled up, looking worried. "Mr. Tow Truck, my brakes aren't working properly. I don't have enough money to go to a big garage, and I don't know what to do." Tim's dad smiled. "Don't worry, we'll take care of you." Tim watched in awe as his dad carefully examined the brakes. "Tim, pass me the wrench, please." Tim eagerly rolled over to grab it. "Here you go, Dad." The blue car sighed with relief. "Thank you both so much. I don't know what I would have done without you." Tim beamed. He loved helping others. But Tim also loved visiting the biggest garage in the city. This is where his dad worked. The garage was called Rusty's Auto Works. The garage was massive, filled with all kinds of tools and machines. Cars from near and far come to visit Rusty's Auto Works. The owner of the garage was a kind old car named Mr. Rusty. He had once been a poor, hard-working mechanic, but after years of fixing cars and treating his customers with kindness, his business grew. Now he was well known and respected, but he never forgot his humble beginnings. He still helped cars who couldn't afford to pay, especially the older ones. "Tim, my boy," Mr. Rusty greeted him one day. "Back to visit your dad, eh?" Tim nodded excitedly. "I love your garage, Mr. Rusty. Someday I want to have a garage just like this." Mr. Rusty chuckled. "Well, that takes hard work, patience, and a good heart." Tim listened carefully. He wanted to be just like his dad and Mr. Rusty when he grew up. One day, Mr. Rusty sat alone in his office, staring out the window. He missed the mountains where he had grown up. The city was busy and loud, and he longed for a quieter life. He needed to find someone he could trust to take over the garage. But who? One day, an old car named Benny the Beetle was towed to Tim's home, looking distressed. "Mr. Tow Truck, I need your help. My engine won't start and I was stranded on the road." Tim's dad inspected the car. "I can fix it, but I need a special tool from the city. Tim, could you run to the garage and get it for me?" Tim's eyes lit up. "Of course, Dad. I'll be back soon." He zoomed down the mountain road, but as he neared the city he saw something unusual. Cars were moving slowly, forming a long line. Up ahead, he saw the problem. A huge boulder had fallen onto the road. Tim rolled up to the boulder. "We should move it," he suggested. A fancy sports car huffed. "I have an important meeting. I can't waste time pushing a rock." A big truck grumbled. "That's not my problem." A tiny scooter sighed. "I'm too small to help." Tim frowned. He decided to try on his own. He pushed with all his might, but the boulder only moved an inch. He had to get the tool for his dad, so he hurried to Rusty's Auto Works. He will find a way to fix the boulder problem later. After getting the tool, Tim returned home. The boulder was still there. He asked another car to help, but the car shook its head. "I don't want to scratch my paint." Tim tried again, pushing as hard as he could. The boulder moved just a little. If only someone would help, he sighed, but there was no time to waste. He rushed home, and he and his dad fixed old Benny. As the old car drove away, Tim told his dad about the boulder. "I tried, but I couldn't move it by myself." His dad nodded. Let's go together and see what we can do." Together, they rolled down the road and reached the boulder. With their combined strength, they pushed and pushed until, finally, the boulder tumbled off the road. Just as they were about to leave, something shiny caught Tim's eye. Under the boulder was a golden envelope. Tim carefully opened it and read aloud, "Thank you to whoever moves this boulder. You are a good citizen who cares for others. You deserve a reward." Tim turned to his dad. "We don't need a reward. We just did the right thing." His dad smiled proudly. "That's right, son." Just then, Mr. Rusty appeared, having watched everything from a distance. "Tim, I saw what you and your dad did today. That boulder was a test." Tim's eyes widened. "A test?" Mr. Rusty nodded. "I wanted to see who would step up to help when no one else would, and you did." Tim's dad chuckled. "We just wanted to clear the road." Mr. Rusty smiled. "That's exactly the kind of heart I want in a mechanic. Tim, I've been looking for someone to take over my garage, and today I found him. The garage is yours and your dad's." Tim gasped. Tim's dad shook his head with a kind smile. "That's a generous offer, Mr. Rusty, but we weren't expecting anything. We were just doing what was right." Tim nodded. "We just wanted to help clear the road." Mr. Rusty chuckled. "I understand, but you see, this would actually be a favor to me. I've been wanting to retire and return to the mountains where I grew up. The city is too busy for me now, and I dream of spending my days fishing and enjoying the quiet life. But I couldn't leave without knowing my garage was in good hands." Tim's dad looked at Tim, then back at Mr. Rusty. "Are you sure about this?" Mr. Rusty smiled warmly. "Absolutely. You two have the heart, the kindness, and the skills to run the garage just as it should be. You'd be helping so many more cars this way." Tim's dad finally nodded. "All right, Mr. Rusty, if this means we can help more cars, then we'd be honored to take care of your garage." Tim grinned. "Thank you, Mr. Rusty. We'll make you proud." Mr. Rusty nodded. Tim's dad patted him on the back. "I'm proud of you, son." Tim beamed. His dream had come true, not because he was looking for a reward, but because he loved spending time with his dad, tinkering away and helping other cars. The end.